Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Denia Mulia Aprilia from 1A class. Today, I'm going to tell you about Harry Potter story. I'm going to read a second story about Harry Potter, that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I will use an online book, not a physical book. There are 18 chapters on the book, but I will read just one chapter. So, here we go. Chapter 1, The World's Birthday. Not for the first time, an argument had broken out over breakfast at number 4, Privet Drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours of the morning by Aloud, hooting noise from his nephew Harry's room. Third time this week, he roared across the table. "If you can't control that owl, it'll have to go." Harry tried yet again to explain. "She's bored," he said. "She's used to flying around outside. If I could just let her out at night." "Do I look stupid?" snarled Uncle Vernon, a bit of fried egg trailing from his bushy mustache. "I know what'll happen if the owl's at our." He exchanged dark looks with his wife, Petunia. Harry tried to argue back, but his words were drowned by long, loud belch from the Dursley son, Dudley. "I want more bacon." "There's more in the frying pan, sweetums," said Aunt Petunia, turning misty eyes on her mischief son. "We must build you up while we've got the change." "I don't like the sound of that school food." "Nonsense, Petunia. I never went hungry when I always ate small things," said Uncle Vernon heartily. "Dudley gets enough, don't you, son?" Dudley, who was so large his bottom dropped over either side of the kitchen chair, grinned and turned to Harry. "Pass the frying pan. You've forgotten the magic word," said Harry irritably. The effect of this simple sentence on the rest of the family was incredible. Dudley gasped and fell off his chair with a crash that shook the whole kitchen. Miss Dudley gave a small scream and clapped her hands to her mouth. Mr. Dudley jumped to his feet, veins troubling in his temples. "I meant, please," said Harry quickly. "I didn't mean." "What have I told you?" thundered his uncle, spraying spit over the table, "about saying the M word in our house?" "But how dare you threaten Dudley?" roared Uncle Vernon, pounding the table with his fist. I warned you. I will not tolerate mention of your abnormality under this roof." Harry started from his purple-faced uncle to his pale aunt, who was trying to heave Dudley to his feet. "All right," said Harry. "All right." Uncle Vernon sat back down, breathing like a winded rhinoceros and watching Harry closely out of the corners of his small sharp eyes. Ever since Harry had come home for the summer holidays, Uncle Vernon had been treating him like a bomb that might go off at any moment, because Harry Potter wasn't a normal boy. As a matter of fact, he was as not normal as it is possible to be. Harry Potter was a wizard fresh from his first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And if the Dursley were unhappy to have him back for the holidays, it was nothing to how Harry felt. He missed Hogwarts so much. It was like having a constant stomach. He missed the castle with its secret passageways and ghosts, his class, though perhaps not Snape, the potions master, The mail arriving by all, eating big hats in the great hall, sleeping in his four-poster bed in the tower dormitory, visiting the gamekeeper Hagrid in his cabin next to the forbidden forest in the grounds, and especially Quidditch, the most popular sport in the wizarding world, 6 tall goalposts, 4 playing balls, and 14 players on broomsticks. All Harry's spell books, his hand, robes, curtain, and top of the line Nimbus 2000 broomstick had been locked in a cupboard under the stairs by Uncle Vernon the instant Harry had come home. What did the Dursley care if Harry lost his place on the house Quidditch team because he hadn't practiced all summer? What was it to be the Dursley if Harry went back to school without any of his homework done? The Dursley were what wizards called muggles, not a drop of magical blood in their veins. And as far as they were concerned, having a wizard in the family was a matter of deepest shame. Uncle Vernon had even padlocked Harry's owl Hedwig inside her cage to stop her from carrying messages to anyone in the wizarding world. Harry looked nothing like the rest of the family. Uncle Vernon was large and necklace with an enormous black mustache, and Denia was horse-faced and bunny. Dudley was blonde, pink, and porky. Harry, on the other hand, was small and skinny with brilliant green eyes and jet black hair that was always untidy. He wore round glasses, and on his forehead was a thin, lightning-shaped scar. It was this scar that made Harry so particular, unusual. Even for a wizard, this scar was the only hint of Harry's very mysterious past, of the reason he had been left on the Dursley doorstep 11 years before. At the age of 1 year old, Harry had somehow survived a curse from the greatest dark sorcerer of all time, Lord Voldemort, whose name most witches and wizards still feared to speak. Harry's parents had died in Voldemort's attack, but Harry had escaped with his lightning scar, and somehow nobody understood why Voldemort's power had been destroyed the instant he had failed to kill Harry. So Harry had been brought up by his dead mother, sister, and her husband. He had spent 10 years with the Dursley, never understanding why he kept making odd things happen without meaning to, believing the Dursley story that he had got his car in the car crash that had killed his parents. And then, exactly a year ago, Hogwarts had written to Harry, and the whole story had come out. Harry had taken up his place at Wizard School, where he and his car were famous. But now the school year was over, and he was back with the Dursley for the summer, back to being treated like a dog that had rolled in something smelly. The Dursley hadn't even remembered that today happened to be Harry's 12th birthday. Of course, he hopes hadn't been high. They never gave him a real present, let alone a cake, but to ignore it completely. At the moment, Uncle Vernon cleared his throat importantly and said, "Now, as we all know, today is a very important day." Harry looked up, hardly daring to believe it. "This could well be the day I make the biggest deal of my career," said Uncle Vernon. Harry went back to his rose. Of course, he thought bitterly Uncle Vernon was talking about the stupid dinner party. He'd been talking of nothing else for 2 weeks. Some rich builder and his wife were coming to dinner, and Uncle Vernon was hoping to get a huge order from Hill. Uncle Vernon Company made drills. I think we should run through the schedule one more time, said Uncle Vernon. We should all be in position at 8 o'clock. Petunia, you will be in the lounge, said Aunt Petunia promptly, waiting to welcome them graciously to our home. Good, good, Aunt Dudley. I'll be waiting to open the door. Dudley put on a pole, simpering smile. May I take your coat, Miss and Mrs. Mason? They'll lose him, cried Aunt Petunia rapturously. Excellent, Dudley, said Uncle Vernon. Then he rounded on Harry. And you? I'll be in my bedroom making a noise and pretending I'm not there, said Harry tenaciously. Exactly, said Uncle Vernon nastily. I will lead them into the lawn, introduce you, Petunia, and pour them drinks at age 15. I'll announce dinner, said Aunt Petunia, and Dudley, you'll say, may I take you through to the dining room, Mrs. Mason? Said Dudley, offering his pet arm to an invisible woman. My perfect little gentleman, sniffed Aunt Petunia. And you? Said Uncle Vernon viciously to Harry. I'll be in my room making no noise and pretending I'm not there, said Harry dully. Precisely. Now we should aim to get in a few good compliments at dinner. Petunia, any ideas? Vernon tells me you're a wonderful golfer, Mr. Mason. Do tell me where you bought your dress, Mrs. Mason. Perfectly. How about we had to write an essay about our hero at school, Mr. Mason, and I wrote about you. This was too much for both Aunt Petunia and Harry. Aunt Petunia burst into tears and hugged her son, while Harry dug under the table so they wouldn't see him laughing. And you, boy, Harry fought to keep his face straight as he emerged. I'll be in my room making no noise and pretending I'm not there, he said.